With the announcement and release of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and as a big fan of the first game, I wanted to play it again to refresh my memory before diving into the sequel. But the question was how? I've already played it with longswords, hammers, and twice on hardcore mode, so what's left? After thinking about it for a while, I remember the fistfighting skill. I never really used it much, and in-game it's not necessary unless you're engaged in certain activities. This time I'm playing on normal mode, since I know how painful hardcore can be, especially without fast travel. But first let's talk about the rules. I can't use any weapons that go into the weapon slots. That means also no bow and no shield. I can't backstab enemies with the dagger skill. However, knocking them out and finishing them off is allowed. If the game forces me to use a weapon, for example doing the sword training at the beginning where you can't holster your weapon, an exception is allowed. And I'm not allowed to use the dog as a bait or as a damage dealer. We play as Henry from Scarlet, who wants to be the best fister in the entire world. Our mother woke us up, and we needed to find an excuse that fortunately gave us some skill points. I took strength twice, because I had this feeling that this playthrough wasn't gonna be an easy one. I talked with my father, grabbed the crossguard, knocked out my first victims, as well as Kunish, who didn't have money for me. I bought Cole and talked with Bianca, but Henry ain't no simp, man.
Silence, wench.
After being forced to fight with the wooden sword, I finally made it back to the forge and crafted the sword.
My father sent me for those nails.
Well, this just happened, so I ran. Somehow saved Teresa and absolutely fumbled getting on that horse. Henry vanished from the bed, and we found out that Rattay survived the attack.
Going back there, you donkey.
Then in the early morning, Sigismund's army arrived at Talmberg.
Greetings, Lord of Talmberg.
You're a poopy head. When we spell it out, you're a poopy head.
That's the bastard who led the attack at Scarlet and killed my parents.
They dipped, and everything was fine. But Henry came up with the great idea to bury his parents in Scarlets. I broke my legs and tried to bribe the guard with 0.1 groschen. Arriving in Scarlets, there was my first test. A looting bandit caught us. And we had our first real fist fight. Obviously it didn't take long until I died. So I used the environment to my advantage. The river was my savior. I could lure the bandit into a certain spot where he got stuck for a few seconds, letting me get the first hit without him blocking or dodging. The good part? I finally beat him. The bad part? I didn't have enough bandages to heal myself. There was no bleeding. So I twisted his neck and thankfully found a bandage not far away. The happiness didn't last long. Another bandit crossed my path, but this time I cheesed him with a fence, where he got stuck in the climbing animation.
What have we got here?
I feel quite hungry.
I met Zbyszek, a local from Scarlet, and he didn't want to give me his spade, so I punched his ass.
Alright, you bastard. Turn tail and run, you bastard.
I dug the grave, Runt showed up and me as he hit me. But thankfully my personal stalker brought some reinforcements and saved me. Waking up by the miller, Teresa told me her story.
They killed my brothers, my family, my friends.
Finally, out of the prologue, I was free and could do what I wanted. I checked in with Sir Rattay and he ordered me to undertake Bernard's training, which contributed nothing to my goal of becoming the best fister. One first sword fight later, I was again forced to do bow training. And if that wasn't bad enough, I had to duel with Sir Hans. I totally destroyed him. Next up, a sword fight. But this time, I was finally allowed to holster my sword and unlock my true potential.
Well, you got the better of me this time, blacksmith.
Next up was sentry duty with Nightingale. I picked up my kit, met up with Nightingale, solved peace between the beggar and the weaponsmith,
Stop making such a ruckus.
destroyed Nightingale in the dice game, and beat Sir Hans' ass again. The consequences? I was ordered to go on a hunt with Hans. Sir Hans had the glorious idea to make a bet who could take out more hares.
Oh,
I quickly realized I could neither use a bow nor hit them with my fist because of their low profile and speed. But I ain't gonna lose this bet, so I followed Hans, saw why I won the bow duel, and snitched every hare he killed. Without shooting a single arrow, I easily won the bet and earned some good old money. Sir Hans wasn't satisfied and suddenly wanted to hunt boars. This went wrong, and now I needed to save him from the cumins. I dropped my apples and was ready to fight. Arriving back in Rattay, we received news that a nearby farmyard, Neuhof, was pillaged. So we joined Bernard, and I finally got pebbles. We arrived in Neuhof. It was even worse than I expected. I sucked at the speed checks, talked with Ginger, who was certainly nervous. I followed this weird blood trail and found 2 bandits. With no bad intentions. I beat one to death and the other one went to sleep. Oh, a bloody hoof pig! I asked around the people about the hoof pig. And it turned out it belonged to Ginger, who suspiciously ran away. I asked the charcoal burners where he is. They didn't know. I asked another charcoal burner where he is. They didn't know. I met 2 friendly strangers. They killed me. I met them again. I killed them. I asked another charcoal burner where Ginger is. First, they wanted me to deal with the bandits nearby.
Can't do that.
What I already did. I found Ginger, and he told me everything. In short, Ginger recognized a limping bandit called Lubos that lived in Ushitz. I reported that to Sir Rattay, and he commanded me to find him. Seeing how urgent this case is, I obviously ignored it for a while and focused on the important things, like brawling with the people in Rattay. I beat Wrinkle, Stefan, and of course Milan. Next up, I needed to upgrade my gear to tank hits in a serious fight, but not before beating Milan again. The ancient treasure maps gave me a decent armor for the early game. I made it to the first treasure, and forgot the spade.
Oh, I don't have a spade.
I got ambushed on my way to the second treasure and died.
Oh, dieser dumme Drecks...
Arriving at the second treasure, I noticed I didn't have any lockpicks. So I went back to the miller, grabbed some lockpicks, grabbed the treasure and picked up the other ancient treasure nearby in the woods. So I made my way to Tollenberg, and from there I rode to Ushitz. Oh, I found Lubos in a bad state. I also learned how to read and grabbed the last ancient treasure. With some decent armor, I continued the main quest and talked with the priest. He didn't want to talk with me, so I made him drunk. We drunk, and drunk, and drunk. We beat up some locals, and...
Wake up, you drunkards!
Where the fuck am I?
oh no, he forgot that he needs to say mass. And now it is Henry's fate. But with ease I passed through, and the priest finally opened up. In short, Lubos had a gang, and they were hired. In his gang were Riki from Ledechko, Pius, and Timmy. With that information, I made it to Ledechko to find Riki. I talked with the tanner and found out that his son is called Riki, and that he hides in a nearby cave. Finding him wasn't hard. He told me where to find Timmy, and something about a bandit camp. Oh no, bandits! At the windmill where Timmy was supposed to be, I only met his sister. who told me where he is, and that Timmy is being hunted by some shady people. Oh, these shady people. I couldn't care less about luring them away, so I rolled up my sleeves and gave them the good old beatdown. I ran up the windmill for proper 1v1s. They even killed one of their own, those fools. After killing the last one,
No surrender.
I headed to Timmy. He kind of told me where the bandit camp is. With those new bits of information, I headed back to Rattay, who built a camp close to Talmberg. And of course, I need to investigate and scout the camp. By always taking the left path, you can't miss the big ass camp. Arriving at Pribyslavitz, I waited until nighttime. First, I tried to sneak in and sabotage them by poisoning their food or burning their arrows. But this didn't work well. Until I remember there's a chest with the human armor in it, so you can dress as one and sneak in a little better. Even far away, the humans instantly wanted to talk with me, but fortunately, the little ruin inside the camp was a safe haven for me. The humans couldn't get on top, and when they exposed my cover, I just waited up there until they got tired of me.
2 seconds later.
I waited an entire day on this destroyed world until I finally made progress. I poisoned the food, burned the last arrows, explored the rest of the camp, and got spotted. I ran to my safe place until I decided to leave. So Rattay ordered me to ride to Talmberg for reinforcements, and then we attacked Pribyslavitz without hesitation. Mid-fight, I noticed I was totally unprepared, neither for the attack nor what was to come next. We fought and fought and fought. Well, they fought and I just looted the corpses. But now the real test begins. A 1v1 against Rund. Fist versus sword. He destroyed me. So I was totally not ready for this fight. I need to increase my strength and fist fighting skills. I traveled to Ushid to talk with the fishermen to the north. But of course I needed to fight other peasants first until I was worthy enough for the mighty fishermen. And finally, the fisherman.
Let's fight. Alright. Good.
But of course, he wasn't a match either. I made some progress, but it wasn't enough. What else could I do? Ah yes, I could clear the bandit camps Bernard asked me to handle. This would be harder, but worth it. Not only for the skill points, but also for the money. So I went to work. But of course, it wasn't the only bandit camp, so my mission was clear: to erase every single bandit trying to harm our peace in these dark times. Oh, a pilgrim! What does he need?
I've walked all the way from Kuttenberg, but as you can see, I can sway my feet. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anytime.
And then I was ready for the attack on Pribyslavitz. With some potions and my new strength, I finished off Rund, and it felt significantly easier than before. And with that, Pribyslavitz was secured. As a thank you, Hanush gifted me a bed. And later, the castle master builder Feifa told us that the silver coins found in the camp were unexpectedly fake.
They're worth nothing.
Some bandits also raided Merhojed right after the attack on Pribyslavitz, but the locals managed to catch up one of them. And whose task is this to check it out? Yeah, that's right, the greatest fister of all time, Henry. After arriving in Merhojed and talking with the people, it turned out some kind of disease had broken out. But I couldn't care less, I just wanted to see the bandit, and he is also sick. So I needed to help them. I examined the sick, then traveled to the cloister, where I found Johanka back from Skalitz. She told me to speak with Brother Nicodemus. I told him everything, and he said I needed to read the medical book to find the right disease.
Okay, I understand it now.
It's poisoning from tainted water.
I brewed the antidote and went back. I gave it to everyone who was sick, and a day later I finally could talk with the bandit. He told me a caravan was about to hand over some counterfeit coins near Rovna, so I made my way over there, just to find out I was too late. I talked with the guard who hides by the charcoal burrows. He told me a mysterious knight ambushed them, and speaking of the devil, there he was. He fell off his horse, and I don't know why, but suddenly bandits spawned, and together with the power of friendship they defeated me. I never knew bandits could spawn there. But let me tell you, this fight took so long. Even with potions I got frustrated. But then I finally cracked him. I was so tickled, I saved right after he conceded, just to punch him even more. After a quick talk, we found out we were looking for the same thing. Who made those coins? Ulrich instantly used us to go to Feifa with his written confessions, explaining how the forgeries were made in exchange for everything he knew. He suspected the fake coins were made in the monastery and decided to stay in Zaza. Back at Feifa, I handed over the confession. He noticed it was written by the Rosenbergs and learned the coins were made from silver amalgam over the copper base. Arriving in Zaza, the first thing I did was talk with Ulrich waiting for me at the inn. Of course, the mighty Fister didn't listen. Now I needed to talk with the master fresco painter. And hey, look, Fritz and Matthew. After talking about Skalitz and the massacre, they complained they couldn't find a job. So they asked Henry, the master of fists, to find them work. Little do they know, I'm never seeing them again. Fritz offered to train fist fighting for a staggering 1.6k groschen. I thought we were friends. The master fresco painter had supply issues with quicksilver because he was told there was none. Or was there? The one who told him that was the assistant of the monastery overseer. A second later, I was at his door. The assistant sounded like a little liar who didn't want to sell quicksilver. But with my charm and my fist of eternal pain and suffering, I convinced him to tell the truth. He mentioned Sir Yeshek and Rapota, but I didn't listen to the rest. Feifa told me the coins required a punch die. So I checked the engraving workshop. Master Jerome complained about his assistant Florian, who apparently had the plague. Let's visit him. He's not sick.
You look quite sprightly for an invalid.
I confronted Florian and he spit everything I didn't want to hear. This girl got kidnapped and of course I'm going to save her. Arriving at the spot, I saved the girl, played wingman for Florian and went back. He was so thankfully and I was finally done with him. Oh, a man with a yellow hood? Where did he get that? I need to know.
Why are you running?
He knew something about the workshop in the Skalitz mines. That's all I needed.
You're not worth tainting my sword with your blood.
And Henry doesn't mean his weapon. I informed Ulrich and together we traveled to the mines. We brutally murdered everyone. I drank a bad potion without thinking and we headed inside the mines.
Jesus Christ. Who are you and what are you doing here?
My name is Van. I'm an artist. I'm a performance artist.
Shut up.
Well, that's a bummer. Ulrich wanted to kill Yeshek, and I needed him alive.
Orders to take him to Rattay.
Lucky for me, the bad potion kicked in. I convinced Ulrich and took Yeshek back to Rattay. Back in Rattay, Yeshek revealed everything. He had been deprived of his birthright and recruited to create counterfeit coins for a foreigner named Eric. He also revealed that a dignitary from the monastery was involved. Ratzig, concerned about the monk's involvement, sent me back to Zaza to investigate and hopefully find Eric. Talking with the bailiff didn't reveal much, except that the local tenor often complains about youth resting near the quarry. And that's what I really cared about. Not the tenor, but the the chance to train my fist fighting. Beating them was crucial for unlocking the final fist fighting challenge, the Human King. And finally I could beat their asses one after another.
Let's do it. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. I want to fight.
But my thirst for fist fighting wasn't quenched. I could finally face the Human King. Oddbird talk nonsense, but less talk, more fists. As I knocked everyone out, I instantly looted their stuff. After beating the Human King without breaking a sweat, Oddbird claimed they didn't have my money. Oh, and I didn't like that. So they needed another fist up their arses. Little did they know, I'm experienced in handling many naked men at once. In the end, Oddbird did have my money after all.
Here's your money. Just leave us be.
Time to continue the main quest. Back in Zarzal, the gravedigger told me about the dog-bitten fellow at the monastery. I checked it out and offered to help with the wounded, even though I'm only gonna help Thomas. After stretching Thomas' leg, I stared at him for 2 hours straight and asked if he knew anything. He told me to visit the church in the evening, when the light was on and the door open. Then kneel before the altar. Said and done, 3 shady men surrounded me. The kind and generous man gave me a test before joining them. Kill a man called Pious. Easy. Though I'm not actually gonna kill him because I'm a noble knight. But he's hiding in the cloister. Great. How am I supposed to get in there? Fortunate for me and totally random, a young noble was about to join the Brotherhood. I could speak to him, or... I headed to Brother Porter and was ready to enter the Order of St. Benedict. And now starts a part of the game I never liked. So I'm gonna speedrun it. Antonius helped me with my woe and gave me a boring tour of the cloister. I searched every book I could and inhaled so much power within seconds. After doing my chores, I confronted Antonius.
I know you're pious.
He is pious! What a shock. We planned a breakout together. And by we, I mean only me.
Right.
I wrote down on the shopping list the blood we needed, and the next day it arrived. The keys were just lying in the pantry. After grabbing both, I returned to Pious and we started the
I
breakout.
have everything we need for the escape.
And here's where you dragged my lifeless body.
Because I was dumb as a rock, I couldn't lockpick very hard doors, so I let him go. With the freshly acquired dice, I rode to the meeting point. After some time, my fellas arrived. They told me about a huge camp of our Zarzal filled with bandits. To enter, I just needed to show the dice. Reporting back to Rattay and a weird camera angle later, I arrived at Vranik. I showed the dice and walked up the hill to meet Eric. He ordered me to fight Master Vranik to prove my worth. Oh, look who it is. The guy who forced me to use the sword in the beginning, but this time I embraced my true power. Fists only.
Alright then.
But this fight was incredibly hard. He tanked my hits like nothing and the fight actually took about 10 fucking minutes. In the end, I came out on top. Back at the house, I made an old friend, Istvan Torf from the beginning, and he had my sword. He tortured me. Then he revealed what I never knew.
Real father is alive. You even know him. It's your liege lord, Rattay Kobyla.
Bro. Alright, chat, we're done for the night completely.
Oh, and that he works with Sigismund.
And he pays me. When he wins, I win.
Suddenly Zbyszek, the guy who sought me out to run, untied me, hoping to escape with me, because he got bullied.
Why you bully me?
I found some lockpicks, opened Istvan's room, I grabbed everything including his chest, and strolled past every bandit without suspicion. Together, Zbyszek and I walked back to Rattay. I told Ratzig and Hanush everything. They of course ordered me to get reinforcements from Tallenberg, and we gathered at Vranik.
What the fuck?
I searched the homestead and found a strange letter. Oh no, it was a trap. While fighting at Vranik, Istvan captured Tallenberg. Without hesitation we rolled back, but arrived too late. Rattay got captured too, now we had 2 prisoners to rescue. Divish got hit during the retreat, and we devised a new plan. Free Rattay and Divish's wife after sunset. So with my darkest clothes, off we went.
What are they waiting for? Quiet, for fuck's sake. What are they waiting for? How should I know? Easy now. We're almost there. Let's not fuck it up at the 11th hour. Where's Sir Rattay and Lady Stephanie?
The night raid failed, so we needed plan B. Build a trebuchet. The problem? Master Faithful had never built one.
Trebuchet, my lord.
So it was my duty to find someone with the know-how. Faithful mentioned Konrad Kaiser, an expert hiding from Sigismund's ire after criticizing the defeat of Nicopolis. I traveled to Sasa and met Konrad. Sadly, he was bound by contract to the monastery under Master Builder Carol. And how cheeky I am, I'm gonna forge a fake letter to free Konrad. I obtained Carol's commission, visited the scribe, got the forged letter, put back the original and confronted Carol. He checked the letter and Konrad was free. So, Konrad, we can go now and... Oh, what is it now?
They're after me! Sweet Jesus, I knew this day would come.
Apparently, an assassin had been sent to eliminate him. I offered to handle it.
For God's sake, I caught you in the middle of an assassination attempt.
Pekka tried to pull a cute little lie. But I know when someone's lying. The job was done, the deal was sealed. Finally, Konrad and I headed to Tallenberg and built the trebuchet. A courier arrived with urgent news. A large enemy army was approaching. Within seconds, Divish devised a plan, and I flanked them from the riverside. Eric got captured, lol suck it, and we defended the trebuchet and bombarded the castle for 2 days straight. And then it was time. The soldiers just tripped and we climbed the ladder and secured the outer wall. Another victory for Henry, the master fister of all time. The game is too easy. But of course it wasn't over. Istvan hid in the tower and demanded safe escort across the border, with Rattay as his hostage. Hans demanded I follow them, so I did. After a short pursuit to Scarlets, Sir Rattay already waited for us. And with that, Henry and his father rode into the sunset. But not so fast! The game isn't over yet. After a long cutscene, Hans and I volunteered to deliver a very important letter. And so we set off on a new adventure. But not so fast, you didn't complete the DLC quest. So I did the DLC quest for Sir Hans. Then I was ready to set off to a new adventure. And that's how I beat Kingdom Come Deliverance with fists only.